Hello! Today I would like to talk to you about my first terrible psychiatrist experience. This video will reference medications and just being mistreated by a mental health professional. This does not define how all mental health professionals are. If you need help, I heavily encourage you to seek it, and do not take this video as some kind of blatant representation of every single mental health professional. A lot of them are really great people and will be able to help you if you need. So this story starts in 2021, early 2021. I had been struggling for a really long time, and I managed to talk to my parents about it, who were not very willing to listen at the time because they didn't understand, quite simply. And so I ended up seeking a psychiatrist because my anxiety got so bad that I couldn't sleep anymore. I was losing my grip on reality. I was horribly depressed. Nothing was going right. And so I ended up finding one on the French website where you can book appointments with professionals of any health type. Any doctors you can book an appointment with on this website. It's a French thing. And so I booked an appointment with a doctor. And so I went there the first time. I was horribly nervous. And I thought he was really sweet at first, but he seemed kind of snarky sometimes, but I disregarded that as him being a sassy kind of person. And as soon as I started talking to him about anxiety, he prescribed to me a very heavy medication, very heavy sedatives and antidepressants. And at the time I didn't see what was wrong with that because I wanted to heal, and I thought that the heavier the medication, the more it meant that he recognized my struggles, but the medication was inadapted. But once again, I did not know that at the time. And so I started taking the medication, and I would see him every 2 weeks or so. I became incredibly sedated. And I firmly believe that the medication, it can happen sometimes. It can have a paradoxical effect where the medication worsens the problem it's supposed to help. And while I was on both of these medications, it made me so incredibly suicidal. I started self-harming so much. It really messed me up, and I didn't realize that. I thought I was just not doing well enough. And so I kept coming to his office with more problems than I had 2 weeks prior. And every single time he would just make the dose higher, thinking that it was gonna help, but it was not gonna help. The medication was simply not working for me. It was destroying me. But this specific person, I've come to realize, is incapable of hearing out people when they say that he might be in the wrong, because this was a man. And I started experiencing, because I was so high on meds all the time, some strong delusions. And I started having dissociative episodes, but I didn't know what they were. And when I feel dissociated, I feel like I'm another person somehow. I feel very disconnected from my own emotions. I feel really weird. And so I went one time and I decided to tell him about it. And I remember that he seemed really rude for some reason as I started telling him about it. And at some point he snapped and he started making fun of me, telling me, "Do you really, really believe that you have multiple personalities?" And I said, No, that's not what I was trying to say. I say that sometimes I'm really out of it and I feel like, I don't know, like I'm seeing myself from a third person perspective or something like that. And he got really, really mean about it. And so I was trying really hard not to cry. I was really out of it too while I was there. And he told me to leave because I asked him like why the medication wasn't really helping me, and he got really angry at that. And so he ended the appointment early, and I ended in my card, but my card slipped from my hand, and instead of landing in his hand, it landed on his desk, like a centimeter below his hand, because it slipped, obviously. And he got really mad at that, and when he printed my prescription, because he prescribed me some more meds, he said, your prescription, do I hand it to you politely, or do I toss it to you like you just tossed me your card? And I thought I was about to cry. I was like really scared. And I said, oh, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean it. It slipped. I genuinely did not mean it. And he was like, yeah, right. And then I left. He didn't say goodbye or anything, and I never saw him again after that. And after that is what launched my very long, that I still kind of have to this day, fear of mental health professionals, because I had such a bad experience that it terrified me. It impacted a lot my mental health. I kept thinking about it, going back to it, being like, feeling stupid for telling him about that. And so yeah, I was just kind of destroyed, and it took me almost over a year almost, for me to quote unquote get over it. I'm still not really over it. I'm still kind of terrified of him, but I'm always afraid of running into him. But I managed to find a great psychologist and a great psychiatrist that really, really helped me. I know much more about medication now, and I'm no longer afraid of like saying, hey, I don't think that's right for me. And yeah, I'm glad I managed to push through it. But just to be clear, that is absolutely no way of how a mental health professional should treat you. It should not go that way. That is not normal. And if your mental health professional is genuinely rude to you, maybe it's time to seek another one. Or if they are questioning whether what you're saying is the truth when it comes to serious things such as medication, if you express concern, they should take the time to explain things to you calmly, and they should not lash out at you. This type of behavior is absolutely not normal, and you should not keep going to any doctors at all if they treat you poorly, because it is your health, it is important, and you shouldn't let someone who has no respect for you dictate important decisions about you and your body and your mind. Fun fact about that psychiatrist, I recently discovered, when I was at the psych ward, I met someone who attempted, just like I did with the meds that he prescribed them. I discovered then that he prescribes every single patient the same super strong meds. And when I checked his reviews on Google, he had people describing the same experience I had with the same meds. And then I realized that nothing was wrong with me, that this man was just not good at his job. And I felt very reassured about that, because it made me feel less alone. Just in general, prescribing so many meds to people who are suicidals when you could attempt with them is really dangerous, and I firmly believe that he should get his license removed, but I'm too scared to be in contact with him again. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to me ramble about this, and please subscribe if you think the story was interesting, or if you like the art in the background. Remember that I take commissions, so you can feel free to commission me if you'd like. It's in the description. It would really make my day. I would love to work with you on a piece. Anyways, goodbye.